Today we got Pennywise the Clown from It going up against 11 from Stranger Things. Who comes out on top? Let's find out.
Eyes up. Stay sharp. Stay down. Final warning. I could do this all day.
It is an ancient alien monster. Although it's lived on the Earth for many years, it actually originated in a void outside the region of space known as the Macroverse. It can morph into any other person, animal, or object, but its favorite and most common form is a circus performer known as Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Its primary goal is to feed on humans, generally preferring children over adults since they are easier to scare and manipulate. According to the creature, frightened flesh just tastes better. It can transform into any kind of being, including things that don't exist in reality and aren't even physically possible. It can appear in multiple places as multiple beings, and different people can actually see it as different things. Like when Richie saw it as a werewolf, while Bill saw it as Pennywise. It's also able to create illusions, which can actually be physically touched, and Pennywise generally uses these to instill fear in his prey. It's also able to turn invisible whenever it wants to, and actually appear to certain people while remaining visible to others. It can telekinetically control and manipulate objects, instantly teleport anywhere inside the town of Derry, control minds and actions of weaker-willed people, and Pennywise is also able to actually detect emotions and memories of his prey, generally using this ability in order to exploit their fears. It is not truly a physical entity, meaning that it can't actually be killed or harmed by conventional means, but this doesn't mean that it's completely invincible. In fact, he's repeatedly been injured in the past and been forced to retreat, although Pennywise is later able to recover from any wound that he sustains. However, even though Pennywise is obviously incredibly powerful, he does have some pretty significant weaknesses. Given that it needs to feed on fear, it makes sense that courage and heart can overcome it. Pennywise can also be taken by surprise and actually physically injured if the attacker demonstrates no fear. Then, despite being a fearsome creature, Pennywise isn't necessarily fearless. At the first sign of being overpowered, it generally makes a quick retreat. Pennywise is also overconfident in his abilities and underestimates humanity. Because of this, often makes mistakes and will actually leave open escape routes for his victims and allow them to run away. So, that's what we got in one corner, Pennywise the Dancing Clown. But into the ring, in the other corner, straight out of Hawkins, Indiana, 11. Jane L. Hopper, better known as 11, is one of the main protagonists of the show Stranger Things. 11 was born of vast array of supernatural abilities, which she acquired through a combination of inheritance and exposure to hallucinogenics while in utero during mother's time as a test subject. Telekinesis is definitely her trademark power, and the one that she uses the most frequently. Elle is able to manipulate objects, people, and creatures with her mind. When amplified for emotions, she's strong to lift and throw large and heavy objects. She flipped over a van and sent it flying into the air, threw and killed a demodog, who was superhumanly durable. She was even able to pull a train car towards her. 11 is also able to use his telekinetic power to attack other people, throwing them up against walls, breaking their necks, and she's even able to manipulate someone's internal organs. She's able to crush the brains of several agents at once. 11 also has the power of ESP, and she can gain information through the mind rather than her physical senses. She can also use her ESP to seek out and find targets on different locations, even over vast differences or in different dimensions. 11's abilities are somewhat linked to her emotional state, specifically her anger and her fear. She accidentally flung Lucas across the junkyard while Lucas and Mike were fighting. She had a psychic tantrum during an argument with Hopper, and her fear of the Demogorgon is actually what caused her to originally open up the portal to the Upside Down. However, after some training and outside help, 11 has learned to harness her anger at will, granting her much better control over her powers. Using her powers also does take a toll on her. 11 is so accustomed to using them that she generally only suffers some minor nosebleeds. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now with It Chapter 2 coming out this weekend, I think it's about time that we throw Pennywise into the battle arena. It just makes sense that the clown loves going up against children, that we throw him up against a kid who can actually fight back. 11 from Stranger Things. But who comes out on top? Well, so we're going to find out. Now, right from the beginning, this is a difficult fight to figure out, just because there are so many different layers and levels to what's going on here. I'm specifically talking about Pennywise in that regard, because 11 is fairly a straightforward character, a girl who's got telekinetic powers. Pennywise is pretty much the opposite of a straightforward character. So it is a metaphysical entity that's actually way beyond our universe that challenges the guardian of this universe, a giant turtle. It actually arrived in our universe under the giant turtle's nose because the turtle was dead, had having choked to death while coughing up the universe. Then, since it is a metaphysical entity, it doesn't have a physical body or avatar, which is a giant spider that crashed on like an asteroid down on Earth and set up shop under the town of Derry. This spider avatar then has an avatar of its own, Pennywise the Dancing Clown. So Pennywise technically isn't really real, except for the fact that it is. Basically, being Pennywise is actually pointless if you want to stop the monster It. If you just be the spider avatar under Derry, then the spider goes into hibernation for 27 years exactly, then comes back out again. In order to stop It, you gotta have your mind and your soul warped through the spider in order to encounter the actual entity in the microverse and defeat its true form there, which is a being that rivals a giant turtle that choked to death while coughing up the universe. So if you actually want to beat It, you gotta be something that's so powerful and so strong that Pennywise, even the giant spider, almost not even worth worrying about. In fact, the only reason there was any conflict in the book at all was because the giant turtle was actually fighting against it as well. But since the turtle was already dead, just acting through the Losers Club. I know, kinda confusing. However, in this fight, 11 doesn't worry about actually taking down the metaphysical It, saying that she would have to be at least a universal level being in order to do that, and Elle is nowhere near that powerful. Now, in this fight, she's just gonna worry about taking down the avatar of the avatar, Pennywise the Dancing Clown. And that's where things can get real interesting. So Pennywise is arguably more powerful than 11, seeing as how he's the avatar of this powerful monster. He's able to do so many things. It's able to shapeshift into anything that it desires, any person, any animal, or any object. And it can use this power to appear in multiple forms, multiple places, and even appear as different things to different people. However, there's a limitation to this, as it must obey the laws of its form, meaning that it takes the vulnerabilities of its form. Like if it was a vampire, it's going to be vulnerable to sunlight. However, Pennywise's greatest asset in this fight is definitely going to be his telepathy, his illusions, and a combination of both. With telepathy, Pennywise can detect emotions and memories in its prey, using its ability to exploit their fears. With its illusions, it's going to be able to still fear as well. These illusions are realistic enough where they can actually be physical, can be touched, and can even include smells. And let me tell you, 11 has a whole lot to be afraid of. Demogorgons, Demodogs, shadow monsters, and mind flayers. And if Pennywise really wanted to mess with Elle, show her a dead Mike or dead Hopper, or something like that. However, while Pennywise is powerful and can definitely mess with 11, there are a few things here that fall firmly into Elle's corner. For starters, the 11 that was scared of Demogorgons and Demodogs is at the most the 11 from Season 1. And even then, she's able to overcome that fear and actually square off directly against the Demogorgon. Then comes Season 2 and Season 3 Elle, she knows what she's capable of. She's been through a whole lot, and it's going to be a whole lot harder to actually make her afraid. Pennywise is real good at knowing which emotional vulnerabilities to provoke in each individual person, but Elle is just so tough and battle-hardened, it's going to be difficult to get her to crack and break. Secondly, Pennywise is all about harassing his prey. In fact, that's kind of the crux of the story. Pennywise hunting down the Losers Club. Rather than just going all out and killing the kids quickly, Pennywise preferred to frighten them and to taunt them. Supposedly because frightened flesh just tastes better, so you gotta build up that fear. Alternatively, 2017 movie, it was implied that it actually needs its prey to fear it in order to be able to kill and eat them. So when confronting Beverly, Pennywise left her alive, but paralyzed because she didn't fear him. However, that's one of the key things that ultimately brought about Pennywise's downfall. I think the exact same thing could happen here as well. I mean, as Pennywise attempts to harass and manipulate 11, well, that just gives Elle more and more time to overcome her fears. She's even scared in the first place, and just gives 11 a lot more time to take Pennywise down. Lastly, if Pennywise is able to scare 11, well, that's not going to work out too well for him. 11 is at her strongest when she's working off anger or fear, like when she had her psychic attack during the argument with Hopper, short of the cabin, or even when she actually opened the gate at the beginning of the show, let the Demogorgon out in the first place because she was scared of seeing the Demogorgon. So Pennywise might scare Eleven, that caused Eleven to go on to literally rip Pennywise in half because she was working off of that fear. And this leads us to another thing that we need to talk about here. The fact that Pennywise can be injured, Eleven's powers are definitely going to do the trick. In the 2017 film, it was hit in the head of an iron spike and is forced to retreat into the sewer. And in the book, it manifested itself as a bird. When Hanlon hit the bird's eyes and feet broken tiles, the bird was forced to retreat. None of this ultimately killed it, but point is, Pennywise can be injured. And Eleven has definitely proven that she has what it takes. I mean, she's killed Demogorgons and Demodogs, who are bulletproof and able to take plenty of attacks. She split the Mind Slayer's head open, or repeatedly injured it, and even pushed back into the Shadow Monster and sealed that gate of her psychic powers. Eleven honestly won't have any reason not to suspect that Pennywise isn't just another monster from the Upside Down, and so she's going to attack with full power and with lethal intent, forcing Pennywise to retreat. And something else we gotta consider, Pennywise isn't above retreating in self-preservation. Despite being fearsome, Pennywise isn't fearless. At the first sign of being overpowered, Pennywise will always quickly retreat. The book talks about how the Losers Club made Pennywise fear them. In the movie, it's more that Pennywise actually loses some of its power when it can't frighten its victims, allowing the Losers Club to actually manage to physically beat it into a corner. So, end of the day, who wins? Well, like we said at the beginning, no way can 11 take down the true embodiment of it. It's just too powerful. But when going up against Pennywise, well, that's a different story. 11 isn't going to be easily scared. 11 isn't going to be easily scared. She's going to injure Pennywise because she isn't scared, and odds are, I'm going to easily drive him off and force Pennywise back into this 27-year slumber. Pennywise really just chose the wrong kid with going after 11. 11 wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sound off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, turn on notifications, join the Fanco army, and I will see y'all next time.